Welcome to the Running Network Show. Join us each time as we explore the people, the places, and the events that shape our great sport.
Hello everyone, this is Gary Morgan with the Michigan Runner, and along with Larry Eder from the Running Network, and we're here at the 2009 USA Track and Field Championships at the historic Hayward Field, and we're on the second day of the championship, and there's been quite a few great performances out here, and I'll let Larry tell you about a couple of them.
Well, it was last night started out great in the men's javelin. Chris Hill threw 275 feet 2 inches for the 6th best performance ever by an American in the javelin. The University of Georgia graduate followed that up with a 270-foot throw, his 2nd best ever. But what it really came down to were the men and women's 10,000s last night. In the men's 10,000, it was Galen Rupp, Dathan Ritzenheim, and Tim Nelson hanging on for dear life. Dathan, who was our top marathon finisher in Beijing, started pushing it at 4K, and Galen Rupp just floated along like a butterfly and then stung like a bee. With 500 meters to go, he took the lead and won for the last time wearing the duck uniform in 27:52. 6 seconds later came along our friend Dathan Ritzenheim, and then right after that was Tim Nelson, former Wisconsin athlete training with the Oregon Project. In 4th place was James Carney from New Balance, who ran a very gutty race as well. On the women's side, that was probably the most exciting race of the night.
Oh, definitely.
Amy Yoder Begley, who endeared herself to everybody last year when she cruised a 63 last lap to make the Olympic standard and be able to go to Beijing, was duking it out with Shalane Flanagan. Now, Shalane is the American record holder at 5K, 10K outdoors, 5K and 3K indoors. So it was a tough battle. It came down to them exchanging the lead every 800 meters because it was a little windy out. Shalane is now training in Portland with Jerry Schumacher, and Amy, as you know, is training with Alberto Salazar. But it came down to the last lap, and Amy, with the crowd behind her, ran a 67.2 to win in 31:22, her personal best. But it was a very, very exciting race. What we've seen so far today were the men and women's 100 meters. On the women's 100 meters, Carmelita Jete continued to show her dominance. Earlier today, she ran a 10.72 wind-aided. Tonight, she came back and ran 10.78 wind-aided, followed by Moona Lee in 2nd, and Lauren Williams, probably the toughest round runner that we've seen in the women's sprints in a couple decades. So that was a very exciting one. On the men's side, Mike Rogers, the little sprinter who everybody thinks is too short to be a great sprinter, but no one's told him that. He won today at 9.91 with Darvis Doc Panton right behind him and Ray Edwards in 3rd. So I think we're putting together a couple good sprint teams. I was with Doug Logan earlier today and Benita Fitzgerald-Mosley talking about the new high-performance programs that they're going to set up, and we were quizzing them about the relays. What they're saying is they're going to tell the athletes who are on the relay squads by July 6th who they are. Then they're also going to tell them which races they're going to run. They wouldn't tell us if they're going to have 4 people on the team, 6 people on the teams, or how they're going to do it. But it sounds like Benita's about simplifying, but giving them time to train. They've got to go to a training camp. And the key for our relay guys is to get the baton around the track. The only way you do that is to train. You've got to do it together. You've got to have a little time. Otherwise, do what the French do and get a group of kids and have them run together since they were 16. Yeah, mediocre, runners, but getting a baton around the track. That's what it's all about.
Well, this meet has got a little bit of controversy with it, as some of the big name stars are only deciding to run their rounds or non-traditional events. Like Bernard Leggett ran just a 800 and he didn't even go to the next round. And Jeremy Warner's, he's going to run 200. Tyson Gay did not run but 1 round in the 100. Some of the fans here are feeling they're being cheated out. It was mentioned in the paper. What do you think about that, Larry? Athletes, they're not putting out a full effort in their traditional events or in any event, and some days it's in some ways taking away a slot, especially in the 800. It's up there empty in the semis when another athlete could have had a chance to move up with certain athletes that decide they're not going to go to the next round.
Well, here's part of the deal. If you were a world champion in 2007, you get a bye to the next event. You just have to run in one of the rounds and do an honest effort. And, you know, you look at our friend Tyson Gay, who ran 9.75, only running 40 meters of that race. It kind of shows you where he's at. Then you see Bernard Lagat run a 1:48.51 running around. Those are obviously real efforts. The problem here is this isn't the Olympic trials. I don't see any. The city of Eugene obviously is giving support to the event, but there's no signage around the city encouraging things. There's no ads promoting anything this year, and the size of the crowds are down. Now, part of that is economic. Part of it is a problem we have with track and field, but part of it is this battle, this birthing about us either being a professional sport or being a Mickey Mouse sport.
You got it.
You know, Logan talked about today with Stephanie Hightower how they're trying to make people accountable in USATF, and they're going to take the jobs that were volunteer and they're putting professionals in there. I applaud that. I think that's important. The only way we're going to stop looking like a Mickey Mouse sport is to behave like pros. That also means athletes having to show up, but it also means the federation has to learn how to work with managers, athletes, and meet directors. And right now, I don't believe they do that.
No.
I think it's kind of a mixed bag. You know that from being an athlete. You know, there's money out there. You know, God, I mean, you were a two-time Olympian race walker. They're talking about trying to get everybody active. Take champion race walkers, take them to junior highs and high schools, make a deal with Procter & Gamble about giving samples and stuff out and getting people active. There's ways of doing this stuff, but until people think out of the box, nothing's going to happen. It's going to continue, and we can't ask footwear companies for every dollar. You know, I mean, Nike puts in their budget for athletes in advertising is in the $30 million range. If you add everybody up who's putting it in, there's $100 million going into supporting infrastructure in this sport around the world. And the thing is, there's a good response to it, but they can't be doing everything. And that's the key. And so if we're going to professionalize, we're going to either do it right or, you know, walleye fishing is going to beat us on TV. You know?
Yeah, we definitely need to do something to get us, because this is an exciting sport, and I think people would definitely flock to see it more often if it just promoted right. And here, even in Eugene, there is no signage around, which I'm very surprised about, this being a big track town. But at this point, you know, it's you know, it is what it is, and you know, they're trying to do as best they can, and you know, it's always a changing guard of things every year. So hopefully maybe we'll have some cohesiveness with the next quadrennium going into 2012 and see where it goes from there.